Welcome to Speaking of Sports. I'm your host, Jared Slack. This is championship week for the NFL. We are down to 4 teams. The AFC Championship will be on Sunday at 2 between the Titans and the Chiefs. They're two completely different teams. One team with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs they sling the ball all over the place. They got the speed, they got the power, they got Travis Kelce on the edge. They got it all. On the Titans side, they have Derrick Henry and averaging 8 yards per pop from the ground. Just some crazy power running from their point of view. They're going to be trying to control the tempo, get all the time of possession they can, get the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. I do believe that the Chiefs are the better team, and that's why I'm going to pick them for this game. But all playoffs long, the Titans have been surprising everyone. And it's really fun to see because nowadays it's you have to pass to win the game. And the Titans are doing the complete opposite of that. And it just makes it really fun to see because they're kind of throwing it back. They're doing what people say you cannot do to win in the NFL. And that's why it's so exciting. They're just competing against everyone else on what you should do to win games. And that's what makes this whole thing fun. In the NFC Championship, you have the Packers and the 49ers. The 49ers are the better overall team, but the Packers have Aaron Rodgers. The 49ers need to key on Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. In last week's game, Aaron Rodgers threw for 16 completions. 5 receivers had 1 reception. Jimmy Graham had 3 receptions, and Devontae Adams had 8. That's enough for 50% of the Packers' completions for 160 yards. That averages 20 yards per catch. So my Super Bowl prediction this year, 2 weeks ago, is 2 completely different teams. My Super Bowl prediction is the Chiefs versus the Packers. They were there for Super Bowl I, and it would be really fun to see them for the 100th year of the NFL. Okay, now for some MLB news. I'm going to go over the cheating scandals, the sign stealing. I'm going to give you the obvious. A.J. Hinch got fired. Alex Cora got fired. Carlos Beltran, 2 days ago, got fired by the Mets. Okay, so from what we know, this all started in 2017 with the Astros. They were stealing signs and they were hitting the trash can. They would get the sign. They had a video camera in center field. They would get the sign from a TV that they had in the dugout. Whenever they got the sign, if it was a fastball, they would hit the trash can as hard as they could so the hitter could hear it. And they would, so the batter would be all keyed in on fastball all the way. And that's from now, looking back at it, that's how they had all their success. They knew what was coming. And that was the year that the Astros were playing the Dodgers. Yu Darvish just got absolutely rocked in one game. I think it was Game 3. Everybody gave him such a hard time. He was tipping his pitches. He was doing something. Looking back at it now, was he really tipping his pitches or was he getting the signs stolen from him? That really set his career back a little bit because he worked that whole next year trying to figure out what he was doing wrong, how he was tipping his pitches. He could not figure it out. So looking back at it, was he really doing that? And did he have to waste that whole year of trying to figure out what he did wrong? And also, you got to think about it, look back. They're not going to ever, they might, but would they take that championship away from the Astros? Because that Game 3 right there really changed that series. And after Yu Darvish had such a terrible outing, it seemed like it was all in a decline from there for them. So, in my opinion, yes, it would change it, but you can't just say, okay, now 2017 winners of the World Series is the Los Angeles Dodgers. You can't do that. It's not fair what the Astros did, but you're just not able to do that. Okay, so now going on to that very next year, the Red Sox have one of the best offenses in MLB history, and it was led by Alex Cora, who was the bench coach for the Astros the year prior. they got a little bit more advanced. They didn't do the trash can thing. There's rumors going out now that there was a little something vibrating inside their glove that they use to instead of beating the trash can, or possibly some type of a patch that would vibrate. So all they would do the same thing. They would look on the camera in the dugout. They would just push a button or however they did it, and so that was another thing you could look back on. And could the Dodgers have won that series as well? And both these times you can, and it's not just in the World Series, it's throughout the year, and they probably did it more throughout the year because the crowd's not as loud, and just like with the trash can thing, and playoffs, it's in October, MLB baseball, that is some crazy stuff in that stadium that's going on, and you can't really hear most of this stuff, so that's probably why they got a little bit more they got more technology advanced the year later. And you also got to remember there's stuff coming out now, 2019, whenever the Astros went for they were playing in the ALCS against the New York Yankees. Jose Altuve hit the home run against Aroldis Chapman to win the game as a walk-off, and that is what sent them to the World Series. Apparently now they're coming out saying that they were cheating that year too, and that was to put them in the World Series. They didn't win it last year. Nationals won it, but that was to put them in the World Series and knock the Yankees out. And a lot of people, including myself, believed that the Yankees were the better team that year. So what does that mean for people like CC Sabathia that will never play the game again? People like that, or just in general, that just wanted that World Series win so bad. It just did not seem fair. And now you have people like Carlos Beltran, who was fired as well, and he didn't get to manage the season for the Mets yet, but he was going to, and he had his fingerprints all over that as well. He was with the Astros in 2017. He was I don't know if he played that year. He was a player, but I don't know if he played that year. He's a player / assistant manager, bench coach, I would say. He was just helping the team out, and so he had his name and fingerprints all over that organization at the time, and that is why his name was brought up so much and why he was let go by the Mets. So also in other news, since AJ Hinch was fired from the Astros, there's rumors going around that Jeff Bannister could possibly have an interview with the Astros. I loved Jeff Bannister whenever he was with the Rangers. I would hate to see him in our own division because he's such a good coach. So many people like him. But it didn't seem as if AJ Hinch, the former Astros manager, approved of this. It seemed like he wanted away from it. He tried to get people to not do it. He said he was quoted as saying that he would smash the TV if they were caught doing it again. It seems like he was the good guy in all this, and I like AJ Hinch. He was a good manager, a really good manager, and I'm wondering that whoever gets hired on as the Astros manager from now on, it's only going to be a one-year thing, because I feel like after that 1-year suspension from Hinch, he's going to get rehired by the Astros, and they're just going to be back at it again. They're going to be missing 4 picks as of right now, 2 firsts and 2 seconds for the next 2 years, and that's really not going to come back to bite you in the butt until probably 4 to 5 years from now. So I'm assuming they're going to be a good team next year. I still have the A's top of the division this year, unless the Rangers make a crazy move. I'm still putting them at 3rd and the Astros in 2nd. So that's all I have for the MLB news. Now on to the NBA news. I'm going to start with the All-Star votes for this year. I'm going to start in the East. I'm only going to go over the front court and the guards. In the East front court, I have Giannis, number 1. This is all votes right now. So Giannis, number 1. Pascal Siakam, number 2. Joel Embiid, 3, who might not be able to play because he just had surgery. Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, and Taco Fall. I'm doing the top 6 from every category. Taco Fall is not an athletic person whatsoever. He is just 7 foot something, crazy tall, and he's a fan favorite. That's why he was voted in. Now guards, number 1, Trae Young, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Derrick Rose, Kyle Lowry, and Zach LaVine. And that's a good lineup until you see the West. You got front court LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Nikola Jokic, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony. Your guards, Luka Doncic, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Alex Caruso, Russell Westbrook, and Steph Curry. Now, what team can you put together that beats that as of right now? That is crazy stacked lineup right there, and that would be such a fun team to watch. So I'm really hoping that those numbers stick and stay, and we get to watch that All-Star game this year. Just keep your eyes out. By the time this episode airs, we should know the official numbers, and I am extremely stoked about this right now. Also in NBA news, we're approximately halfway through the NBA season. The Mavericks are on pace for 52 wins as of right now. A lot better. They're well on their way, on pace for they're well above pace what they were supposed to do this year. So I'm excited about that. They're in 6th place right now. There's a couple teams that I think that they could beat out. For one, I think that they're better than the Rockets. James Harden and Russell Westbrook are very good players, but I think that their team, the Mavericks team, is better than the Rockets team is. So if they could get there, if they could beat them out, if they could get in the 5th, they'd be playing somebody like the Jazz or the Nuggets or possibly even the Clippers. But if they were to stay there or they were to drop one, they could possibly play in the Lakers. And that could be a potential upset right there just because of how they've had some success against the Lakers. They're not good down low with Anthony Davis, but they've had some success against the Lakers. They should have won their first game against them. They won their second game, and then they lost by a lot their third game. So I personally think that the Lakers are a good matchup for the Mavericks. But we're just going to have to wait and see how everything lines up. If everybody stays healthy, Kristaps Porzingis has been resting his knee for these past 9 games, which doesn't sound good, but it really just seems like they're being precautious with him. And I hope that's the only reason why. I hope this doesn't turn into a big thing, but he could potentially be playing tonight, so keep a lookout for that. I want to see that. They already have a very good chemistry between Luka and Kristaps Porzingis, but chemistry can always get better. And I really want to see that, especially in the second half of the season, especially after the All-Star break, and especially heading into the playoffs. And I want that first matchup to be a great one. Even if it's not a win, you need to get into the playoffs. You need to get some playoff experience with these young players. You have, if for some reason you go out and get a free agent signing or a trade before the trade deadline, that's a great thing. Just because of you have a great bench, you might have the best bench team in the league, and if you just upgrade your starting position just a little bit, just one of them, you might be able to get past that first round, and that experience is great for such a young team. That's all I have for this week. Thanks for listening to Speaking of Sports. Make sure to listen to the podcast at 12 o'clock on Fridays, the lunch hour. Download the app, like, comment, share it. If you have any sports-related questions, comment below. Message me personally. I'll try to get them on next week's show. Thanks for listening to Speaking of Sports. I've been your host, Jared Slack.